Here's how to make stovetop short ribs. We're going to serve it with this creamy polenta and this amazing gravy, which by the way has no wine in it. And as a bonus, I'm going to show you how I use my leftovers to make this ramen the next day. So let's get into it. I start off by patting my short ribs dry just because we're going to be searing them later. I'm going to be seasoning them simply with salt and pepper and make sure that I get every single side of those short ribs. And then I turn the heat on. I actually switched burners because this heat was too low. Turn it on high. Add some oil to your pan and you start searing your short ribs. Once they start getting brown, you want to flip them. And again, make sure that you get every single side before you remove them from the pot. And they should look something like this. Add carrot, celery, and onions to that same pot. And then we're also going to add garlic. I keep it whole because we're going to strain this out later. So it doesn't matter. So we might as well keep the flavor. I add in some beef bouillon and I also add some tomato paste. I make sure to incorporate all those things together, and you can see now why I like to add the garlic in this way. So good. And then I add in some balsamic vinegar in place of the wine. I like the wine versions. I've made a few like that, but I honestly prefer the balsamic vinegar. It tastes so much better to me. So then I return the short ribs back into the pot and add in my herbs, which this time I added some thyme, bay leaf, garlic powder, onion powder, and some paprika. Then you just want to cover all of that up with some beef broth until it reaches to the tippy top of your short ribs. Once that comes to a boil, you want to cover it up and you want to turn the heat down real low, because the key to getting tender short ribs is to turn the heat down as low as possible and let it cook for a few hours. While the short ribs are cooking, pause, hit that subscribe button so you can see more recipes like this.
A few moments later.
The amount of time it takes to cook your short ribs is going to vary based on a couple different factors. First is like the amount of short ribs that you're using, the size of your pot, just a few different things. But I would say on average, it takes about 3 to 4 hours on really, really low heat to get my short ribs tender. You want them to be as close to falling off the bone as possible, or actually falling off the bone, but not completely disintegrating and falling apart. So we're going to skim some fat off the top of that sauce, or easy way to do it is to pop that sauce in the fridge and the fat is going to solidify on top and you can just toss it out. This gravy is one of my favorite parts of the recipe. It's so good on a lot of things, including mashed potatoes and this creamy polenta we're about to make. You just want to strain some of the ingredients that we had in there. You're still going to get a couple herbs falling through, but that's pretty much it. We're going to thicken it up with a cornstarch slurry, which is 1 part cornstarch, 2 parts water, and that's going to make our gravy thick while we work on our polenta. Starting off with 2 cups of chicken stock, 2 cups of half and half, and we're then going to add a couple of seasonings, just some garlic powder and some salt, while we then pour our polenta in there and whisk it. I was also going to add some cheese, but I was like, you know what, you're doing too much. Like, let's calm down. There's a lot going on in this recipe. But for polenta, you just need to babysit it a little bit. Just whisk it through here and there until it is completely cooked through and you still want it to be creamy. Then we're going to plop our short ribs on just like that, add the sauce, and top it off with some green onions. If you have leftovers, grab some ramen because this is a quick and easy way to use them. To your braising liquid, you want to add some grated ginger, red pepper flakes, shred those short ribs, and add your ramen noodles to it. I like to top everything off with some green onions, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe because the next recipe is honey garlic chicken. I'll see you in the next one.